the strange news articles that you might have missed in the news. Today we'll be covering the latest UFO photo, Congress and the JWST, the James Webb Space Telescope, a 5D crystal, which is already insane, and so much more. Let's get straight into it. Starting off with this UFO photo. Doesn't it look a little odd? Because we were told just last year, it's nothing but a weather balloon, nothing to see here. But there's a lot more to this story. Because a UFO was shot down by a US fighter jet over Canada back in February of 2023. Do you remember that fiasco? It was several days worth of chaos of these very strange objects just floating across the United States into Canada. And people were like, oh my gosh, it's a UFO. We didn't really receive any information until days later. And they said, oh, nothing to see here. It's a Chinese spy surveillance balloon. It's a weather balloon. But it's definitely, most definitely, not a UFO. Well, based off of this photo, it doesn't look like those conventional explanations, does it? I'm just very glad last year they didn't say it was Venus, because that would be just a total spit to the face. So CTV News obtained this blurry photo, which appears to be a photocopy of an email printout through an information request from Canada's Department of National Defense. And the image shows a cylindrical object hovering in the sky, captured days before it was downed over Canada's Yukon Territory near the Alaskan border. And the object had initially drifted from Alaska into Canadian airspace. Do you remember that? It was a pretty big deal back in February of 2023. Everyone was talking about it. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, also known as NORAD, first detected this high-altitude airborne object flying at approximately 40,000 feet above Alaska, prompting the deployment of jets to monitor it. And it was ultimately shot down on February 11th, 2023 by the US F-22 Raptor, using an AIM-9X missile. And the object was believed to be a small metallic balloon with a tethered payload. And we've all seen this image right here, and that was the explanation that we got of it's really nothing extraordinary. It's actually pretty mundane. But it seems like this new picture that was released is kind of telling us a different story. And for those that don't really remember this case or this incident, don't worry, I got you covered. The incident was one of 3 aerial objects brought down that month in February of 2023, following the downing of a Chinese surveillance balloon on February 4th, and all 3 objects were smaller than the Chinese spy balloon, which had traversed Alaska and the continental US before being shot down off of South Carolina's coast. Then, you have the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stated at the time, quote, I spoke with President Biden and confirmed together that we will continue to do everything necessary to protect the sovereignty of our shared North American airspace and to keep our civilians safe. However, President Joe Biden later clarified that these 3 objects were unrelated to the Chinese spy craft incident. So what's the story here? What's going on? And why is this image just now surfacing out into the public? The release of the UFO image faced some internal debate within the Canadian government, as it always does, with the initially declassified and approved for public release. The acting assistant deputy minister for public affairs questioned whether public viewing should even be allowed. And there was this internal email noted, and I feel like it should only ever be read in this tone. Given the current public environment and statements related to the object being benign, releasing the image may create more questions or confusion, regardless of the text that will accompany the post. That's the only way that paragraph had to be read. It was just like that. And it's just saying, practically saying, I don't want to give out this information. I'm forced to give out this information. It's going to cause more of a mess because I can't control the information. Blah, 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 suppressing the narrative, right? Like, that's really what it is. And yes, it's so frustrating, but I'm very glad that the people that really try to push to get this image released, you're awesome. You are awesome. And here we are today talking about this right here, right now. But something else that seems to be layer after layer after layer covered up, which doesn't really make any sense, is the alleged briefing on the James Webb Space Telescope that Congress received not too long ago. But let's give a little bit of a rundown, a little bit of a backup according to The Hill, because the JWST, the James Webb Space Telescope, has detected potential biosignatures of a massive Earth-like exoplanet according to a recent NASA announcement. The K2-18b, an exoplanet 8.6 times more massive than Earth, has been found to contain carbon-bearing molecules, including methane and carbon dioxide. And this discovery supports the hypothesis that the K2-18b could be a Hycean exoplanet, one with a hydrogen-rich atmosphere and water-covered surface. So this is pretty exciting. Now, the K2-18b is pretty far away, but why am I even mentioning this? Well, this is leading up to the congressional briefing of the JWST, and because no representative has spoken out about it, it makes it seem a little fishy. Why not? You're just discovering new stars and new nebulas and new planets, right? Nothing too crazy, not alien life, right? Well, there are some pretty crazy rumors out there, and one of them being that maybe the JWST found a spacecraft entering our solar system that isn't ours. Another one states that maybe that this telescope spotted an exoplanet that showed city lights on the night side. And then lastly, the last theory is that the telescope found this Earth-killing asteroid that's ready just to take over our planet and make it explode and have another dinosaur experience. We don't want that. We don't want that last one. The first two are pretty cool, but the thing is that we don't actually know. These are merely internet rumors, but we don't actually know what was said to Congress, what information was given to Congress. But here is the but part, the however. According to Ask a Poll on September 19th, they asked, have you ever been in classified briefings on the JWST? And Andre Carson said, no comment. Why? Why, number one, even say no comment? Why say yes or no? Why bother saying the word no comment? It gives away so much without giving away anything. You've probably used it once or twice, and you knew when you needed to use it, right? Researchers from the University of Southampton have achieved a remarkable feat in data storage technology. We always want the best data. We always want the most memory in our computers, in our cell phones, in our USB drives, right? And especially if you are a documentary creator, film creator, right? Content creator, any of these things that require a lot of data, you have hundreds of terabytes of storage. But imagine if you could just have something nice and small that holds what seems like practically an infinite amount of storage. Sign me up, I would like 3, please. Working with the Helix Works Technologies, they have successfully inscribed the entire human genome onto the 5D memory crystal using laser technology. This achievement marks a significant milestone in the field of data storage, building on research that dates back to the year 1996. So this 5D memory crystal made of silica glass boasts an impressive storage capacity of, listen to this, 360 terabytes. Give them to me. Take my money. I want them all. Its exceptional durability has earned it a Guinness World Record for the most durable data storage material. The crystal can withstand extreme conditions, including, this is actually wild, cosmic radiation, pressures to up to 10 tons per square centimeter, and temperatures as high as 1,000 degrees Celsius. based off of these characteristics, can you know what we're going to be using this 5D crystal for? For space exploration. That's what we're using it for, because we don't need those crazy things right here on planet Earth. Well, I mean, depending on how deep in the Earth you want to go, then I can understand that. But for the most part, cosmic radiation, it was measured for that. Take that bad boy to space. The research team believes this technology could serve as a fail-safe for preserving human genetic information far into the future, potentially bringing humanity back from extinction, even after thousands or millions of years. I don't know what it is about humans, but we just have this desire to live forever. We have cryogenics, right, which has been going on for a few decades, but it's really solidifying these last few years. If you have a few $100,000 in the bank, right? We have people wanting to ship their DNA to the moon. There's one professor that wanted to do that. And we have this. We're consistently seeing this growth of using our best technology to allow us to live youthful forever or to live as long as possible. It's kind of remarkable in some ways technologically, but then you always have that fear that we see in so many sci-fi movies, is that if you live forever, you're going to see everyone else that you love die before you. I feel like that part's a little devastating. But if you were to all live forever, right, and we all have a lifespan of maybe 1,000 years, and I've thought about this for some time, if humanity had a longer lifespan versus the typical 75, 80 years, would we have as many wars as we have had in human history? Because we always hear this saying that with age, we become wiser, we become more knowledgeable, and we don't repeat our own history. But that doesn't stop our grandchildren, our children to repeat that history. Do you see what I'm saying here? So if we were to have a longer lifespan, would it prevent the chaos here on planet Earth? I don't know. But I've considered that significantly over the years. We are saving maybe one of the best articles for last, and it also allows us to ponder about our past, and that is the Nazca lines. If you don't know anything about the Nazca lines, here's some beautiful images, and I've also done a show on the mysteries of Peru that talks about this, but let me provide you just a nice blanket statement on these lines, because number one, these Nazca lines are in one of the driest places on planet Earth, and the lines stretch across this bleak terrain where not noticed until the invention of the airplane, and the first aviators to fly over the area back in 1927 must have been amazed by these amazing drawings on the ground from several hundred to several thousand years ago. Well, it only gets more exciting because originally we only found a few hundred of these glyphs that show things like the astronaut, the hummingbird, the ant, and the spider. But because of artificial intelligence, we found at least 300 more. And these ones seem to be more shocking than the previous glyphs that we've seen in the past that look alien. They've mentioned some look like a whale holding a knife, decapitated entities as well. And I honestly, truly didn't think that we were going to find that many more glyphs. And then on top of that, these researchers are saying we're going to find a few hundred more as the years progress. To find those 303 glyphs using artificial intelligence, it took 5 months. From September of 2022 all the way to February of 2023, they were able to find several hundred more than what they anticipated, because before AI, it took them years to find the several hundred that we found already. Years. And so with AI, they were able to find just like these very faint white lines over the terrain of Nazca to attempt and find these glyphs. And they succeeded, I think, pretty darn well. And some of these are ginormous. Like, for instance, the killer whale holding a knife is a 70-foot long image. While there is this fear of artificial intelligence and even machine learning, this is what we live for. It's these positive effects on attempting to understand our history, to do better research, right? To do it faster, to do it more efficiently. All of these things, that's what I'm excited to see, and that's probably why I think this might have to be one of the most exciting articles, is because we're finding things from the very ancient past, and it's shaping the way that we view that. That is significant. That is exciting. And if we can apply that same mentality, optimism, and technology to when we begin to explore space outside of our solar system, attempting to understand different alien civilizations with that same level of excitement and optimism and understanding of how to, at the very least, use our technology, we're going to get very far. It's when we begin to be very hostile towards things that we do not understand, that is when humanity becomes dangerous. With that being said, I do write articles for all the shows right here. You can find them on my website at strangeparadigms.com, or you can click that link in the description box below. Before you head out, like this video and subscribe or follow if you haven't already. That is it for today. I will see you next time. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies. If you enjoy the strange and the mysterious, UFOs, the paranormal, and cryptids, this channel is for you. So make sure to subscribe, as I do 3 videos right here every single week, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of the bonus content I post right here.